Welcome back, Duality 7Xers. I'm Sheeraz, I'm your laid back fight guy. Laid back, today is a laid back day, guys. We got lots of news that we want to cover, though. We've got some really important things that I wanted to talk about. And so on this channel, we break down all the hottest trending stories when it comes to the world of MMA, the UFC, WWE, and boxing. So whatever's making noise, guys, if you love inside takes and if you like real talk, unfiltered, raw, then you're definitely in the right place. And so let's kind of get into it. There's a couple things that before I start, just some kind of housekeeping announcements. It's been confirmed. We've been talking a lot about Ilia Topuria and who he could potentially defend his lightweight championship to. And just hot off the press, guys, he's going to be defending his lightweight championship belt for the first time against Justin Gaethje at UFC 324. So hot off the press, guys, Ilia Topuria will be taking on Justin Gaethje, and this is for the lightweight championship at UFC 324. And also we've got UFC Rio, Fight Night Rio, that's going to happen this Saturday, October 11th. And then this is going to be good. It's going to be good. We got Charles Oliveira taking on Gamrot, and this is going to be a lightweight bout. And then you also have Figueroa versus Jackson. There's a lot of good fights, but on the main card, Luque versus Alvarez, Diniz versus Pinto, and then we've got Ramos versus Offley, and Almeida versus Oswald Jr. And then a really good mix of preliminaries as well too. There's a couple women's fights that I'm really interested in. Alexieva versus Mesquita, and I'm also interested in watching Polazzari versus Kowalkiewicz. Now, those are going to be pretty good. I'm interested to see the outcomes of those. These are some up and coming women fighters and some veterans, so it'll be good to see kind of how they perform. So that's Fight Night Rio, October 11th, and we're definitely going to be covering that for sure. So now. I want to talk about a couple things that's been kind of swirling around here, guys. And so first of all, Conor McGregor just received a shocking 18-month suspension. Okay, get this. An 18-month suspension, which literally is going to shake up the UFC world, right? And then we also have another story that I'm going to quickly talk about, and it revolves Magomed Ankalaev, and his manager reveals that he was actually injured before fighting Alex Pereira. Now, I'm not sure how much of this is going to carry any weight now, because Alex Pereira, as you know, won in such decisive fashion. He won within 80 seconds of the first round. He was a locomotive that steamrolled right over Ankalaev. Yes, Ankalaev did look a little off to me. But then again, that just could have been Pereira's monstrous aggression. And like as soon as that cage door closed, guys, and the referee is like, "Okay, guys, ready to go." From one end to the other, Pereira just rushed Ankalaev, and he just started barraging him with hits. And Ankalaev didn't even know where he was, what was going on. He couldn't tell his left foot from his right foot. He got owned in that fight. So if his manager is coming out now and saying that, well, you know, my fighter was actually injured, I mean, it's a little too late. But I mean, then again, what was he going to do? Like back out of the fight? That's not Ankalaev's style. So that said, it'll be interesting, at least. I mean, moving forward, what happens with him. We do know that the rankings have changed, okay? And Alex Pereira now is pound for pound in the top 5. And I think Ankalaev has moved down to, I think, 7th position. All right? And then we have Merab Dvalishvili. He climbs the pound for pound rankings as well, too. So anyways, guys, I want to break down all of this, and I want to kind of get right into it because I know everybody wants to know. All right, so what's going on with Conor McGregor? And like this is shocking news, guys. Like, I mean, this changes everything, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. So first of all, Conor McGregor has just accepted an 18-month suspension under the UFC's anti-doping whereabouts policy. All right. Now, He's apparently missed 3 biological sample tests last year in 2024, the first one being June 13th, then September 19th, and September 20th. Now, according to the reports, the standard ban would have essentially been 24 months, but because of McGregor's cooperation and explanations, it helped reduce that from 24 months down to 18 months. He was able to shave off 6 months, but here's the thing. His suspension technically is retroactive. It starts from his last missed test, which is September 20th, of last year, and it runs until March 20th, 2026. Now, why does this matter? Because McGregor has openly expressed interest in returning for the UFC Fight Night at the White House, which will subsequently take place in June of 2026. Now, is it possible that the suspension could technically threaten those plans? It's possible. It definitely is possible. But I mean, if you think about it, provided that he does what he's supposed to do and he doesn't get into any more trouble, Conor McGregor will have completed his suspension just in time, or actually at least a couple months in time for the White House return, for the White House card. Now, I think the UFC and the fans will definitely use this as ammo on both sides. Some will say that, he's being held to a harsher standard because of his, star power, celebrity status. I mean, others are going to say that rules are rules. But the timing, guys, this is what's important. I mean, it's brutal, right? I mean, he's been out for a long time anyway, right? So this could technically delay any kind of return unless he pushes for an appeal or a miracle. Now, he does have some friends in the White House, and he's got and Dana White, obviously has a lot of respect for Conor McGregor, and it's mutual respect between the two. So maybe there's a possibility that they might make an amendment, right? Depending. I mean, I'm sure he'll have to appeal, and we'll have to see kind of what happens technically what happens around that. Now, if he does do everything that he's supposed to, assuming he doesn't get into any more trouble, then he fights again in June of 2026 at the White House event. Now, the question comes down to does he still command the same kind of aura? Or does this layoff, essentially, and this controversy surrounding the suspension tarnish any potential comeback? I mean, could the UFC quietly shift focus to, say, new stars, right, while he's sidelined? I mean, anything and everything is possible, right? Bottom line is Conor McGregor is a star, and people want to see Conor McGregor, right? I mean, this guy could move to a completely remote part of the world for the next 18 months and all of a sudden surface as soon as the suspension is done, and he'll be the next big thing all over again. That's the kind of excitement that Conor McGregor brings to the table. He's got fans worldwide. And whether you're a fan or not of Conor McGregor, it's irrelevant, but you do want to see him fight. And so I think everything's going to be okay. It's weird, though, with the timing, but it's absolutely interesting, to say the least. And I'm sure there's going to be other news surrounding Conor McGregor, because Conor McGregor, being Conor McGregor, likes to be in the limelight all the time. So that said, let's go to our next story, and let's talk about Magomed Ankalaev, and let's talk about his manager talking about how his fighter was subsequently injured, right? So, I mean, let's talk light heavyweight news, guys. I mean, at UFC 320, Alex Pereira is now the newly crowned champion. Okay, he is now in the pound for pound rankings in the top 5, and I mean by his absolutely incredible knockout within 80 seconds of the first round, reclaiming the title. I think he put a lot of he really, if there was any concerns, any kind of questions about his comeback, about his fitness, his stamina, his ability to continue on as a fighter, especially at the ripe age of 38, I think he's put all that to rest. I think I think he's proved a lot of naysayers. And I mean, look, naysayers are naysayers. A lot of people are still going to be on the camp that are saying that he's not good enough, he's this, he's that. But it's a small percentage. I mean, bottom line, whether you like Pereira or not, you have to give credit where credit is due. And this guy's a serious fighter. He's a contender. He was able to make weight for this fight, and then he bulked up 23 pounds just like that overnight, and he looked incredible. I mean, he didn't even look tired or anything. If you watched him before the fight, as the fighters were getting into the ring, in the octagon, Pereira was backed up in his corner with his entourage around him, and the whole time, all they were doing was just staring at Ankalaev. Laser beam focused. So that just tells you the kind of competitor that Pereira is, and how committed and motivated he was to achieving his successes and his goals that night. And he did it in such grand fashion, guys. It was absolutely incredible. 80 seconds within the first round to reclaim that title. I mean, it was, you know what? The money lines were that you could have done a parlay, you could have bet that, and you would have won some serious money. But I'm sure not a lot of people did, because I was under the camp thinking that Ankalaev was going to win by decision and it was going to go the distance. But anyways, Pereira proved otherwise, right? Now, after the loss, right, Abdulaziz, who's Ankalaev's manager, Ali Abdulaziz, he said something very scorching. And he said something along the lines that his fighter, Magomed, shouldn't have even fought, being in that condition. What condition? He was apparently injured or sick. Apparently he had a broken rib, guys, going into the fight. And there was some leaked footage that even shows him receiving treatment weeks before the bout. So I think it's definitely possible that he could have sustained some kind of injury, but we don't know. And we can't verify that. Now, for Ali to come out and talk about Ankalaev being in not 100%. I mean, okay, look, guys, if you have a broken rib and you're going into a fight, first of all, kudos to Ankalaev for at least stepping into the ring, realizing that he's going up against a monster, and not being at 100%. You still got to give him credit for being able to go in there, not really realizing how the outcome was, and he, being knocked out. I mean, that's it. You could clearly tell. Magomed was a little off. You could, but I mean, it's also possible that as soon as the referee is like, go, Pereira from one end to another just rushed Ankalaev. And I think his aggression, his aggressiveness, and his, Ankalaev looked like he was not even in the match. He was trying to weather the storm, but to no avail. He even tried to attempt a takedown while he was just getting punched and beaten, to no avail. And then those 12-6 elbows, guys, that was it, guys. And then the referee had to step in, and that's it. Now, if he did have a broken rib, that sucks for him. And unfortunately, sometimes those things happen. And apparently there was some other issues that Ali Abdulaziz was talking about regarding issues that were kind of going on within his camp, maybe outside of any kind of potential injuries. But he definitely felt whatever was going on with Ankalaev definitely compromised his ability and his performance that night. And it's quite possible because, I mean, Ankalaev, I think, is pound for pound one of the greatest fighters right now in MMA. And for him to not even show up, and I'm not saying literally show up, but for him to not being able to at least inflict even a little bit of damage, obviously there was some issues going on there. So, I mean, I'm torn, guys. I'm really torn on this one. I mean, on one hand, fighters, these guys are gladiators, guys. These guys are warriors. It's easy for us behind the screen, behind the mic, or on a couch, or talking with your buddies. I mean, it's easy for us to watch the fight and to be able to referee that match and say, oh, come on, guys, stand up, come on, get in there, do this, do that. It's so easy for us to do all that, but you have to understand, at the end of the day, these gladiators, they're the ones who accept that risk. They're the ones who are living it real time. They're in that moment. and we can't even fathom what that's like. I mean, especially when you have two fighters like Magomed and Alex, competing at the highest level. you know yeah, the average person wouldn't even be able to sustain being in the ring for like less than, I mean, yeah, for more than even 10 seconds. But when your manager comes out and publicly says you shouldn't have walked through those ropes, that's quite rare, guys. And that speaks volumes. So did Ankalaev feel pressure to fight despite injury? Because he doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like the type to just whimper out of a fight. There's been instances where a lot of people have canceled their fights because of a cold. Ankalaev's not that guy. He'll fight with the cold, he'll fight with the fever, he'll fight with the flu, he'll fight with COVID. He'll fight, and apparently he fought with broken ribs. That's pretty impressive in my books, right? So anyways, whether or not he felt pressured to fight despite the injury, I mean, that's something that I don't know if we'll ever truly find out. But did the UFC possibly, or camp decisions, maybe push him too far? I mean, who knows, right? But definitely the good thing is Ankalaev will get a chance now to just step aside for a while, okay? He'll heal up, and now whether this kills his momentum or not for a trilogy with Pereira, I don't know. What we do know is now they're 1-1, and I think the fans definitely want to see a rematch. I think people want to see an actual fight, I mean, this was all Pereira from start to finish, and if Ankalaev is truly injured, take this time to heal, rest up, get better, and maybe take on a fight or two, and then climb your way back up to the top, and we'll probably see a trilogy in the making. And listen, UFC, they listen to their fans, and if it's going to be good for business, guaranteed, I think it's most likely going to happen, right? So the question comes down to is, could Pereira's reign be short if he's facing a drained division? I don't know. I don't think there's a shortage of talent awaiting Pereira. I think there's a lot of hungry fighters out there who all want a piece of him. I'm not sure if Olberg actually wants to fight him or if he actually declined to fight, but I know Yuri Prochaska is really interested in taking on that challenge. I mean, with such a decisive win over Khalil Roundtree Jr. At UFC 320, Yuri looks like he's got that momentum. He looks like he's got that killer instinct. I think he's hungry, guys. That would be a really, really good fight. But then again, there's some other good fighters as well too in the wings that we can't ignore. But moving on, guys, moving on. When we're talking about the rankings, right? I mean, so we're talking about Alex Pereira. He's jumped up, in the pound for pound standings, thanks to that, that beautiful win over Ankalaev. I think he's now in the top 5. And Merab Dvalishvili, he also had a huge night. All right, and with his dominant win at bantamweight, he's drawing comparisons now to Khabib for wrestling dominance and pace. And the UFC pound for pound rankings list is shifting. Fighters once comfortably ahead are now getting challenged. So this is what we want to see as fans. I think this is exciting. Like I said, there's no shortage of talent in the UFC, and I love it. I love it when shakeups happen. I mean, it keeps the fans guessing. Dvalishvili's consistency, it makes him very, very scary, or scarier. Now, he's no Flash, but he grinds, guys. He's a grinder. Now, Pereira, meanwhile, always had the power. We knew that he was a striker, but this win gave him renewed respect in that pound for pound space, and I think now it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with these guys. So I mean, if Pereira defends and jumps again even higher, does he someday challenge GOAT status, right? And what happens if Dvalishvili kind of moves up as well too and starts wrecking in a new division? All of those possibilities could very well happen. So I guess we'll have to stay tuned and see what's going on. So McGregor's comeback is somewhat delayed. The suspension will cast a bit of a shadow over his legacy, especially when it comes to anti-doping and stuff like that, guys. I mean, people can put two and two together. You don't have to be a rocket science to figure that out, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look. So when somebody's going to talk, when discussions surface about somebody's legacy, especially an athlete's legacy, and then this topic comes up, there's always going to be doubts, right? And there's always going to be questions. I mean, look with John Jones, right? I mean, all the controversy surrounding John Jones and people bringing up his past, right? So, sometimes this news can very well tarnish a fighter's legacy. But that said, Conor McGregor is Conor McGregor, so I'm not even phased. I don't think this really changes much. Changes some things, perhaps, but from a star factor, from a fight factor, I don't think this changes anything. Now, Ankalaev's loss is marred now with new injury controversy. I mean, and it's kind of reasserting themselves. Pound for pound standings are in question. It's evolving. And now we're entering into a more dynamic era in the UFC. So if I had to pick a winner from all of this, I think I lean Pereira. He's riding momentum. He's gained and, garnered a lot of respect as of late. But that dark horse might be Dvalishvili. Consistent performance. Those are the kind of things that makes a legacy. And, he keeps his nose clean. He's not a controversial fighter. He does his business inside the ring. There's not a lot that's discussed about him outside of the ring. And he seems like he's very committed to his craft. So Dvalishvili is and could be very well the future of the UFC. But that said, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. And we already talked about it. Ilia Topuria, it's official. He's going to defend his lightweight championship against Justin Gaethje at UFC 324. And guys, look, I mean, and that's going to be the first numbered UFC event on Paramount Plus, apparently, right? So, do you guys think McGregor's suspension was a little too harsh? Do you think he has a chance to appeal? Did Magomed actually make a mistake by fighting Pereira if he was subsequently injured, and not even just like a sickness or an illness? If he had broken ribs, I mean, shouldn't the UFC have known about that? Because couldn't that have been a little, detrimental to a fighter? Well, like, he could have potentially suffered some more serious injuries had the fight, gone the distance, So aren't those things that maybe a doctor or the UFC should have evaluated if that was truly the case? And who's the real threat now, guys? Is it Pereira or is it Merab? So drop your thoughts in comments, guys, below. I want to hear your takes. And if you guys are liking this fight talk, please hit the like and subscribe and join us here on Duality 7X for more fight talk. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget, UFC Fight Night in Rio, October 11th. We're going to cover it. I look forward to catching you guys on the next one.